So a few weeks ago, I introduced a brand new golf drill. I'm so happy because the feedback on that has been incredible. People saying they've never hit it so solid, they've never hit it so straight. But people did say, Danny, how do I apply this to both my irons and my driver? So what I thought I'd do today is introduce you to the actual drill I gave these people, just in case you missed it, but also show you how it works for both your irons and your driver. It is so simple, so good, you can take it straight to the course. But before I get into it, look, if you're new to the channel, it's one of your first lessons of mine, please consider subscribing. At least videos just like this one every single week to try and help you improve your game. But you never have to remember a thing. I'll always put a free downloadable practice guide in that description box below. So when a student comes to see me, the number one thing they want is consistency. Danny, I want to be more consistent with my ball striking. I want to see much straighter ball flights. To do that, you have to be good at two things. You need to have a great ability to control how your body works, your torso, and you need to be good at controlling how your arms work. Common sense, right? But it's easier said than done until now. Let me bring you in on a couple of drills that I gave my students, which they're absolutely loving. We're going to show you how the body works, how do you get that body working simply and effectively as stage number one, and then I'll show you how you add the arms in, which is the hardest thing for most people to grasp, which really adds the speed and the consistency. So let's start with the body. Now, the inconsistent players, I often like to describe it as almost like they've got a screw loose, right? So basically, if you're inconsistent, the chances are you've got too many loose screws. So if you imagine a screw under my armpit here, connecting it to my chest, and here. What often happens with the inconsistent players is they're just too loose, right? So these arms have so much freedom to move around, it's hard to repeat that. So what I do with my players is I just get them here, look, to just tighten the screws under their armpits here. So particularly with this trail arm. So take the trail arm here, look, and I'm gonna move it in here. So look how my elbow moves inwards towards my body. I'm just, in a sense, pushing that bicep and tightening this screw here. Now this is really, really important because as I move to here, look, I want you now to picture this. I've got my club resting on a table here. And because I've tightened this screw here, I'm gonna scrape the whole shaft along this table. Notice I'm using any of my hands, I'm not loosening my screws here. I've got those screws just connected to my body, connected my arms to my body. I'm gonna move that backwards and forwards. And now what I've got something that's repeatable compared to this, where this can move in and out, it can move up and down. I've now got a repeatable motion, scraping along the table. All I do with my players, once they've got that sensation, they've locked this in place, I get them to angle the table a little bit further forward, and then we do the same thing again, look. I'm pivoting around, and notice this. Because the elbow's here, I'm pivoting around this elbow. If this elbow hasn't locked in, and it's maybe out, can you see how that could affect this pivot too, and the turning of the body? Suddenly the arm gets away from the body and now has to come back into the body. Lots of moving parts. When I lock it in, now I can create that motion. So I drop the table down. Now my table, look, is at this angle. What I'm gonna do now, locking this in, I'm gonna form the first part of my circle, yeah? The bottom part. And I train the players to start with just to create this simple motion where we tighten the screws and we're pivoting the body to the right here and then to the left. Let's have a look at this in action. So nothing more complicated than that to start with. So nice and simple, swinging along that table, and all I'm doing is chipping it down there. Now, some of my students, they get in a hurry. They want to quickly move into this full swing. Please don't. Look, you have a lifetime to play great golf. Learn this first part of the circle. So many players I see, they loosen their screw like this here. Club goes inside, and then you're playing catch up. If you can spend just a few moments, just swing that club, look along that table, backwards and forwards, learn just almost like here, chip it down there, you're gonna start to see straight shot after straight shot, and you've now got some control. Nothing more complicated than that, right? Now, let's move on to step two, is once you've done that and you've perfected that, what do the arms do? The arms are the more complicated thing for a lot of people to do, but I promise you, this will make it simple and they add yardage to both your irons and your driver. So you've got your torso controlling the first part of this golf swing, and it's giving you those short but accurate shots. You want to hit it further than that, and to do that, you're going to have to swing longer. So you're going to have to bring the arms in, look, to control or finish this circle off. But in bringing the arms in, you don't want to then suddenly loosen all the screws, which I see a lot. People taking the club back, this screw loosens to take it back and lift it over their head, or the elbow sticks out here, another screw loosened. You can't create consistent contact and direction if you're doing that. So let me now introduce you to the drill that everyone's been raving about online since I introduced it a few weeks ago. But before I do, let me give credit to Graham Walker, who gave me this drill personally. It's an absolute game changer. I absolutely love it. I'm actually going to use hack motion here just to kind of help me illustrate this exercise because it's really, really useful. So we want to know how the wrists, I'll come to that sound in a second, and the arms help you to complete the swing whilst maintaining control. So hold the club out in front of you, opposite your lead breast here. Now all I want you to do is this. We're going to pitch the club without raising the butt of the club. We're going to pitch the club, overlook my trail shoulder here. Now what the hack motion device is doing is just giving me an auditory and a vibration on my wrist, showing me that I'm doing it correctly. Because when I gave this to some people on the range once, they did this. They pitched it over here, and suddenly you can see here, it's just can be inconsistent, right? So ultimately what we're trying to do is we're trying to get that sensation of that every single time. Now what is that? That is your basically 3/4 back position at the top of the swing. So look at this here. If I do this, where am I now, look? That's the swing. No. No. There we go, right? So this is your backswing right here. Now on the way through, there'll be no auditory on this side. We can swap it in a second. On the way through, all we're going to do, look, is pitch the club over lead shoulder. Now what's happening on both right and left is the elbows are sitting down, the shoulder's sitting down on the way through. What's this? Well, this now, look, if I do this now when I'm here, look, is what? The second part of your arc. So we've got, look, the first part of the arc and the second part of the arc here. So by doing this, you're now training, look, the circle of your swing on the way back and on the way backswing and through swing, okay? And it's as simple as that. So what I do here is I'll use things like the auditory feedback here to go, feel that motion there, one of them, make a few rehearsals, make sure I'm in place, then I hit a shot. I personally don't like the auditory feedback when I'm about to hit a shot. So what I'll do is I'll just take it and I'll actually move here, look, and I'll go biofeedback and I'll put biofeedback after the shot. And what this does now is when I get to after the shot, it will tell me whether I've done it correctly or not. So I'm basically swinging back, I've got that sensation here, I'm moving it to the top, and then away we go. So we're going to extend it. This is extending the circle. One, I get a feel of it here, locking that in, and then away we go. Didn't quite strike that one perfect, but you can hear from the audio, I got that absolutely spot on the way through. What I probably didn't quite nail there was this section of the arc. And I could always put this device on the other arm if I wanted. But ultimately, all you're doing in reality is you're sitting, the trail shoulder sits down, look. On the backswing here, doesn't look, pop out. And then on the through swing, look, as we do this elbow sitting down here, the lead shoulder sits down. And look here, look. That simply provides both sides of your circle. So my students have fed back to me, they said, Danny, what I love about this, Danny, is it just gives me a beautiful destination to go to here and then through to here. And I feel like that is just a wonderful image. A lot of people have struggled to kind of create the circle, have been artificially doing it just with their arms. But now you can see here, look, there's my torso moving. Now you know how the wrists and the arms are supposed to naturally fold. You've now finished the first part of the circle. You're coming back into impact here, and you're finishing the second part of the circle. So it becomes so much more repeatable when we do this, right? You can hear the noise there. But people did say, like I say, does it work for driver? Of course it does. There's no difference in the golf swing. There's a difference certainly in your setup. Let's just make sure we change this to driver so it recognizes it. Driver, there we go. So there's only a difference in the setup. So ball position opposite our lead heel. Sternum now slightly this way, so point in there. But everything else, look, you want to keep the same. We still want to kind of create a lovely coordinated motion here, and you want to finish off that circle. Then we're coming back in, and away we go. Not bad, not bad. I think it's pretty straight. Yeah, you go, look, pretty straightforward. Straight down the middle of the fairway, nice little draw. So it works for driver 2. All I'm doing, really simply, I've got my torso working. I now know what my arms are supposed to do or where they're supposed to get to. People might say, well, when do you let the wrists hinge? Do you know what? It doesn't matter. It varies for everybody. You just know that this is the direction or destination they're moving to. So whenever you decide to do it, is entirely up to you on both sides of the swing. But now you know destination, it's so much easier to create that circle. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It works for every club in the bag. Give it a thumbs up if you did. And look, if you'd love to see myself giving this to a student, check this video out right here. Of course, there's a free practice plan in the description box below. But until next week, have a wonderful golfing week.